I emailed Loveland City Manager Jim Thompson this morning concerning Loveland Police Department Chief Tim Doran, and just for transparency and accuracy, I'm going to read the actual email to you. It's very short. Mr. Thompson, when did you place Chief Tim Doran on leave for his violations of the Loveland City Charter and Loveland Police Department policies? Is Mr. Doran on paid or unpaid leave? Further, if Mr. Doran intends to appoint Bob Coleman, a non-sworn officer, as the interim chief, please remind Mr. Doran that he is served by 3 assistant chiefs who are sworn officers and who are more than qualified to lead the Loveland Police Department while the city searches for and hires a new police chief. You may or may not know, because of your relative newness to the corruption that governs Larimer County, that Bob Coleman directly assisted Sheriff John Fayen with covering up criminal actions. It's unquestionable that it is in the city's best interest for Bob Coleman to be immediately removed from the LPD. While the city searches for a new police chief, in the interest of protecting the rights of all types of believers and non-believers, and in the interest of avoiding a pile of lawsuits, please immediately remove the Loveland Police Department's Bible verse from all official city documents and from all city social media accounts. And then, of course, I sign my name with my phone number. You may remember or may not remember this particular poster that I presented a couple years ago. This was a press conference that Loveland Police Chief Tim Doran, Sheriff John Fayen, and Public Information Officer Bob Coleman held when a Loveland police officer was arrested for raping and kidnapping a young woman. This officer was wearing his uniform and used his authority as a police officer to lie to and trick this young woman and her friends. And at the time, I explained why this trio was problematic. This was a couple years ago. It's problematic because Mr. Coleman intentionally covered up criminal actions committed by Sheriff John Fayen years ago. And John Fayen and Tim Doran are pals from the FortCollins Police Department. The most important thing for you to remember is that Tim Doran was hired by City Manager Steve Adams at the same time that Adams was being criminally prosecuted for assaulting me outside a courtroom at the LarimerCounty Justice Center. There is a current email that I have shared with the City of Loveland, specifically to City Councilor Steve Olson, that I am not making public at this time. The reason for that is legally I am restricted from doing so because there is pending litigation against Steve Olson, and because of the specific type of lawsuit that City Councilor Steve Olson is facing, I am not allowed to publish that, share it, or in any way specifically refer to why Steve Olson is being sued. At the first possible moment that I am legally allowed to do that, I will share that email and the updates on this story with you. Loveland's relatively new city manager, Jim Thompson, was hired to replace criminally charged and prosecuted Steve Adams. Mr. Thompson's email that was shared with the Loveland City Council yesterday, February 21st, 2025, does not bode well for Mr. Thompson's future in the City of Loveland, specifically because Mr. Thompson appears to be excusing Loveland Police Department Chief Tim Doran's behavior and actions. In a video tomorrow, Sunday, February 23rd, 2025, we'll go into more detail about why City Manager Jim Thompson and Police Chief Tim Doran are facing the exit doors. Mr. Junglas is next in line, maybe first in line, for the exit door at the city attorney's office. The reason for that is Mr. Junglas has violated ethics, charter, and the law. He, along with Chief Doran, believe that they are untouchable, that people do not care about the integrity of the Loveland Police Department or the City of Loveland government, and they're hoping that you're not paying attention and that actually you don't care. The reason the public has a right to know about information regarding corruption in the City of Loveland is that even if you believe that you will never have to engage with the police or you will never have problems with local government, is people who never expect it or never see it coming who are the most devastated when the police or corrupt government comes knocking on their door. There are so many people that I know personally in this town of Loveland, Colorado, that have been devastated by the corruption inside this building and just down the street at the Loveland Police Department. It's a multi-generational damage factor that we have going here. It doesn't impact just the wrongfully accused or the maliciously prosecuted individual. It impacts their friends, their families. It impacts the school system. It impacts the health of the community. There are innumerable ways that dirty police officers and dirty city government employees destroy the health of a community. That's why this matters.